It's been a very interesting couple of months for the Sport Compact segment. The new WRX debuted with controversial styling, and no STI version expected to follow it. The new generation Civic Si no longer looks like it was designed by Hot Wheels, and actually makes less horsepower than the previous generation Si. Toyota made a splash with the 300 horsepower GR Corolla, which features the same motor and all-wheel drive as the incredible GR Yaris. And now all eyes turn to Honda again, as test mules of the upcoming Civic Type R lapped Suzuka and the Nürburgring for almost a year, wearing a camouflage wrap and not much else. Finally, we get to see the new Type R uncovered. And here it is. In a word, wow. Honda did away with the sharp edges, the fake grills, and the tacked on plastic bits. Where the previous Type R appeared to be a Civic hatchback with a body kit glued to it, this new one appears smooth, muscular, and far more intentional in design. The stance of the car is low and wide, there are no fake scoops and vents. Everything that is on the car is serving a purpose, and the result is a cleaner, much more purposeful looking Type R. Let's take a closer look. Starting with the front view, the fascia appears more relaxed, less angular, and less angry than the previous Type R. The design overall is simplified, and the only grills and openings on the front are the ones that need to be there. The center of the bumper is dominated by a large honeycomb grill that feeds copious amounts of air to the large intercooler. The aggressive, blocky fake grills on the corners of the old car's front bumper are gone, giving way to a vertical slot on either side that feeds cooling air to the brakes. At the top of the bumper, the signature red Honda Type R badge is alive and well here, centered on another honeycomb grille. This grille is taller than the previous generation car, likely in an effort to fix the overheating issues that plagued the previous car while on track. The upper grille is flanked by rectangular headlights that give the front of the car a softer appearance, rather than the pointy headlights that adorned the previous Type R. I like the new front end a lot. The previous generation car was Honda reintroducing the Type R badge to the United States, with a bold, extreme look. Now that the US has gotten used to seeing the hard edges and the wings and spoilers and ground effects and everything else that made the Type R stand out, this new generation makes a more subdued, yet more serious statement. Moving up to the hood scoop that fed cool air into the engine bay has been replaced by a wide vent that instead extracts hot air from the engine bay. This vent is placed directly behind the radiator to allow more air to flow through it. Looking down the widened front fenders, the tall black cutouts have been replaced by simple body-colored fender vents. They're now integrated into the side skirt rather than being part of the fender. The side skirts themselves are a simpler design too. The wide, textured black side splitter has been replaced with a gloss black design that is far more flush with the side of the car. The kick-up in front of the rear wheels is much shorter than before, and the red accent stripe that flows around the bottom edge of the whole car is no longer present. In fact, the only red parts on the whole outside of the car is the Type R specific badging. The biggest visual departure to the previous generation Type R is the rear wheel fenders. The older car leaned into an aftermarket wide-body aesthetic, taking the base hatchback's body and literally gluing on fender extensions that ended abruptly at the rear door cutouts. It was an interesting choice, and lent to an unfinished appearance on the side of the car. The new generation features a smooth, integrated wide-body that reshapes the fenders and the rear doors. The rear profile is wide and planted, and with a single unbroken line flowing from the roof's edge to the widest point of the fender. The Type R shares the Civic hatchback's simplified rear hatch, and rather than sporting a wing that would look right at home in a Transformers movie, the new Type R adopts a much more motorsports-focused wing. The wing supports are aluminum, and the shape of the wing is smoother, with no sharp edges or end plates. The leading edge of the hatch is featureless, save for the shark fin radio antenna. There's no vortex generators or lower spoilers or anything more than what's necessary on the car. It's a smooth, decluttered appearance, and kind of makes me wonder what all the extra bits were adding to the car in the first place if the new car doesn't need them. Under that new wing is the new rear bumper. Similar to the front bumper, the big fake vents at the back of the previous car are gone, and in their place are elegant vertical reflectors, and what may be rear wheel vents as well. The bottom of the bumper features a gloss black diffuser shape, and centered in the bumper is the same triple exhaust. However, this time, the center exhaust outlet is the large one, and the outer two are smaller. The previous Type R drew criticism for how quiet it was relative to how it looked, so it'll be interesting to hear how Honda has changed that for the new car. Under the vented hood is a new version of the K20C1 motor found in the previous Type R. Honda has been tight-lipped about the power figures this new motor will make, but rumors indicate the Japanese spec cars will make 325 horsepower and 310 pound-foot of torque. Expect the US spec cars to make a bit less than that, but we can certainly expect to see an increase over the previous generation car. In addition to being more powerful, the new motor features an interesting square cover on the intake that is textured like carbon fiber and embossed with the Type R badge. This cover wasn't present on the older car, so it's an interesting new item on an otherwise identical engine. The interior gets a bit of restyling, but the overall theme is the same. And that's not a bad thing, depending on your personal tastes. Whatever red accents that were removed from the outside of the car have been more than made up for on the inside. From the steering wheel up to the windshield, all of the red has been removed. According to the Honda press release, this is to allow you to focus on driving. However, glance down and you'll see an ocean of red cloth covering the carpets, the floor mats, the seats, seat belts, and the signature Honda badge in the center of the steering wheel. Peer past the steering wheel and you'll notice the staple of new performance cars, a full digital dash. The Type R's dash includes a linear tachometer, a G-meter, oil and coolant temperature, oil pressure, boost, and what appears to be intake temperatures. It also features a stopwatch function for lap times and 0 to 60 sprints. The seats are slightly redesigned, featuring a fully red seat instead of the red and black used on the previous car. The Type R logo is debossed into the headrest instead of being stitched into it, giving the seats a far more premium appearance than before. Finally, textured aluminum surrounds the signature Type R aluminum shift knob, and like the generation before it, this car uses an electronic emergency brake. I was a big fan of the previous generation Type R. I loved its attitude and the shameless aggression on one of the fastest hot hatches in the world. However, for as good as it is to drive, the styling did not avoid criticism in the automotive community. It's been called overstyled, juvenile, and it's even been compared to a Batmobile. This new Type R brings the styling more in line with what a more discerning audience would prefer, and with an expected starting price at close to $40,000, it needs to look like a car that's worth that amount of money. I think the new car looks strong and purposeful, yet instantly recognizable as a Type R. I think the minimalist approach to the design of everything you need and nothing you don't works very well for this car. I look forward to seeing how it compares to the upcoming GR Corolla and the Volkswagen hatchbacks. It's a good time to be a fan of super hatches.